The vanishing islands of the Maldives. Imagine waking up one day, stepping out your door, and finding your island home, slowly sinking beneath the waves. Sounds like a scene from a movie. For the Maldives, this isn't fiction, it's reality. This paradise of over 1,000 coral islands, renowned worldwide for their crystal-clear waters and dazzling marine life, faces an unprecedented crisis. But how can islands simply disappear? What happens to the people who live there when the land they've known all their lives is reclaimed by the sea? And most importantly, can anything be done to stop this environmental catastrophe before it's too late? Situated in the Indian Ocean, the Maldives has been a symbol of tropical beauty and tranquility. Yet today, it has also become the poster child for climate change. A dire warning of what rising sea levels mean for vulnerable coastal regions around the globe. The science behind the submersion. To fully grasp the dire situation facing the Maldives, we must understand the science behind rising sea levels. At the core of this crisis is a well-known but often underestimated culprit: climate change. As global temperatures rise due to increased greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide and methane from human activities such as burning fossil fuels and deforestation, polar ice caps and glaciers melt at unprecedented rates. This melting contributes significantly to rising ocean levels worldwide. But it's not just melting ice. The expansion of seawater as it warms, a process known as thermal expansion, is equally responsible. Water expands as it gets warmer, and this subtle yet powerful force gradually increases sea volume, causing levels to rise even more. The Maldives is uniquely vulnerable because its islands are among the flattest and lowest lying in the world. Most of the land sits merely 1 to 2 meters above sea level, meaning even slight rises can have dramatic impacts. Scientists predict sea levels could rise between 30 centimeters and 1 meter by the end of this century. Such increases may seem small, but for the Maldives, they're devastating. Dr. Aisha Khan, an oceanographer specializing in climate studies, emphasizes the Maldives is like a gauge for global climate change. The impact seen here will be felt worldwide. Indeed, these islands provide real-time evidence of the broader climate crisis, reflecting the urgency of global action. Data from NASA indicates that global sea levels have risen about 23 centimeters since 1880, with 1/3 of that rise occurring in just the past 25 years. This accelerating pace is especially alarming, highlighting how quickly the Maldives landscape could change within our lifetime. Scientific models reveal stark projections. By mid-century, many of the smaller islands could become uninhabitable, with larger islands severely impacted. Saltwater intrusion contaminates freshwater supplies and destroys fertile land, posing risks not only to homes but also agriculture, a key source of local food. The Maldives also faces intensified storms due to climate change. Stronger hurricanes and storm surges, fueled by warming oceans, exacerbate coastal erosion, compound flooding issues, and threaten lives. Each event weakens the islands further, making recovery more challenging. While global leaders and policymakers debate strategies to reduce carbon emissions, the reality for Maldivians is increasingly stark. Adaptation is already a necessary part of daily life. Infrastructure projects such as elevated buildings, artificial islands, and robust seawalls have become vital but expensive solutions. But these adaptations have limits. Without a significant global reduction in emissions, the Maldives' battle against rising seas is ultimately a losing one. The science is clear, as is the urgency. Immediate global action is crucial. The Maldives' plight underscores a critical global truth: what happens in polar regions doesn't stay there. It ripples across oceans and continents, affecting even the most remote corners of our planet. As islands vanish, the question remains whether humanity can unite swiftly enough to prevent further loss. Ultimately, the fate of the Maldives is tied directly to global climate policies. Every ton of carbon dioxide not emitted, every policy passed to curb warming, gives these islands and similar vulnerable regions a fighting chance. Understanding the science behind the Maldives submersion is just about acknowledging facts. It's about recognizing our shared responsibility and power to change the future. The Maldives serves as both a stark warning and a call to action for humanity to confront and mitigate climate change before it's too late. Every year, residents watch their beaches erode and waves inch closer to their homes. Some islands have already vanished completely, swallowed by the sea. This isn't some distant future scenario, it's happening right now. In this video, you'll hear the voices of the Maldives, learn the science behind these vanishing islands, and explore what's being done to fight this battle against nature. This isn't just about the Maldives, it's a story that should concern us all. If islands can vanish overnight, what might the future hold for other coastal areas worldwide? Imagine the trauma of watching your ancestral home disappear beneath the ocean, knowing there's little you can do to prevent it. This distress is the daily reality for many. Despite their best efforts, building seawalls, relocating sand, and strengthening coastlines, the ocean continues its relentless advance. As we speak, several islands are under constant threat, their futures hanging precariously. Why is the Maldives particularly vulnerable? Its islands are among the lowest lying on Earth, averaging just 1.5 meters above sea level. With the global sea level expected to rise significantly by the end of this century, scientists warn that without urgent action, many of these islands could be entirely submerged within decades. But hope isn't lost. Communities, scientists, and international bodies are coming together in unprecedented ways, fighting to save what's left and to adapt to the changes that are already inevitable. Can humanity alter this trajectory, or is the disappearance of these beautiful islands an irreversible consequence of our actions? Stay tuned as we explore this critical question and more, diving deep into the Maldives' desperate fight against rising seas. Human faces of climate change. While statistics and projections offer a sobering view of rising seas, the true weight of the Maldives crisis is carried in the stories of its people. Climate change here is not a future problem, it's an intimate, daily reality. For the Maldivians, it's not just about disappearing land, but disappearing identity. Take Amina, a schoolteacher from the island of She remembers walking to class through wide sandy paths as a child. Today, those same paths are often flooded during high tides. The children in her school now have monthly evacuation drills. In case of storm surges, I teach them English, science, and how to escape the sea, she says with a half smile and tired eyes. For many islanders, migration isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Families are relocating to higher ground or larger islands, like creating social strain and overcrowding. Generations who've lived off the land and sea must now learn to adapt to urban life, leaving behind not just homes, but traditions and ancestral legacies. Elder fishermen speak of reefs that no longer teem with fish, of patterns broken and species vanished. One fisherman from Hinavaru described how his livelihood changed in just a decade. The fish don't come like they used to. The reef is white, dead. I had to send my sons to work in the city. For many, this transition is heartbreaking. Not only is their land being taken, but so too is their way of life. There is a deep sense of injustice. The Maldives contributes less than 0.03% of global carbon emissions. Yet it stands at the front lines of its consequences. Activists and youth groups have risen in protest, demanding global accountability. We are drowning in a crisis we didn't cause, says Rashid, a university student and climate advocate. Despite these hardships, there is resilience. Community leaders are organizing climate education programs, planting mangroves, and even experimenting with floating structures. But their message to the world is clear. They cannot win this battle alone. These human stories transform climate change from a scientific concern into a moral one. The fate of the Maldives is not just an environmental issue, it is a humanitarian one. And the world must listen. What's unfolding here is a preview of what many coastal communities will soon face. The Maldives offers a human lens through which we can understand the true cost of inaction. Their courage demands not only our empathy but our united response. Conclusion: a paradise on the edge. The Maldives, with its breathtaking beauty and serene seascapes, now stands as one of the loudest warnings humanity has ever received. These islands are disappearing not in the pages of fiction, but in real time, in real lives. Every lost shoreline is a sentence in a story that demands our attention and action. We've seen how paradise can vanish, how science, policy, and human impact are interconnected in a fragile balance. We've heard the voices of islanders whose lives are being reshaped by forces far beyond their control. The question is no longer whether this is happening, it is. The question is, what will we do about it? If the world continues on its current path, the Maldives may become the first nation to be erased by climate change. But it doesn't have to be that way. The fight for the Maldives is the fight for every coastal city, every island nation, and ultimately, the planet itself. There is still time. Time to reduce carbon emissions. Time to invest in adaptation. Time to stand with communities already facing the front lines of this crisis. Time to act not out of fear, but out of a shared hope that our world can be better, fairer, and sustainable for generations to come. The resilience of the Maldivian people is inspiring. They continue to fight, to adapt, and to speak out. But they cannot and should not stand alone. Their story is our story, their fate a mirror of our collective future. If we choose to act, we can still change the ending. This is not just about climate change. It's about justice. It's about ensuring that those who did the least to cause this crisis are not the ones who suffer the most. It's about legacy, what kind of world we want to leave behind. So what can you do? Stay informed. Share this video. Talk about climate change not as an abstract issue, but as a human one. Support initiatives that protect vulnerable communities. And above all, demand accountability from leaders and institutions to make climate justice a priority. The Maldives may be small in size, but its voice echoes across oceans. Let it be heard. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Here at Terra and Tale, we'll continue to bring you the world's hidden stories one tale at a time.